My name is Martin Madert with the Witness to War Foundation. It's November 3rd, 2019, and we're in Seattle, Washington for the United States Marine Corps Vietnam Tankers Association reunion. I'm sitting with Mr. Roger Unland, U-N-L-A-N-D, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, he served in the Vietnam War in the United States Marine Corps. How are you doing today, Roger?
Not good today.
If you wouldn't mind telling me what years you were in the Marine Corps and what years you were in Vietnam specifically.
Let's see, I went in 66 to 69.
And what unit were you serving with in Vietnam?
I served in Vietnam from 67 to 69. I served with Alpha Company, 3rd Tanks. 1st Platoon.
And tell me a story that is important to you about your time in Vietnam.
Okay, I came out of Con Tien. I don't remember a lot because 55 years, but I want to tell my story about Lamson 250 from a driver's point of view. So I came down to Dong Ha. Now you're going to have to edit this.
Yeah, of course. So you're in Con Tien, correct?
I was Con Tien. I came out of Con Tien, and what I try to remember is what the heck really happened to me. I went down to Dong Ha, and I was kicking it in one of the tents, and Lieutenant Spalsbury comes in, Jim Spalsbury, and or Lieutenant Jim. And anyway, sorry, Jim. And anyway, he comes in. He goes, "Blues, I need a driver." So he says, "Grab your gear, grab your sidearm, grab your ammunition." So I grabbed everything, and he went outside with him, and he says, "You have to drive this tank. I want you to drive this tank." So I go, okay. So I jumped in what I believe was Alpha 1-3. Now, if other people see this interview, I have never met anybody that was with me. I don't know who was with me except for Corporal Mintz. And Corporal Mintz was short timer, and they grabbed him off. And I never knew who the loader or the gunner was. So anyway, we were ordered to take the 1-3 because it just came out of maintenance, over, get it fueled up, grab all the ammunition, 30, 50, 90s, that we can haul because it just came out of maintenance. So we went over and got it fueled up. We got all of our ammunition, came back, and was told to group up and go over to this chapel that they had. And well, why we got to go to the chapel? They says, well, because of last rites. So we went over to the chapel, and I found, I guess he was a priest and stuff like that, and he gave us a sermon on afterlife and death. And so I'm going, man, this can't be really serious. So anyway, I did my prayers, and we left and went back, got into the tank. Well, we took off that afternoon, and we were to hook up with Bravo Company, I believe. Now, we're the last tank in the formation. From what I understand, there was 10 tanks. 1-3 ended up at the very end, so we were rear echelon. So we had to protect the back end of the unit, or the formation. We took off and we drove for the longest time, and then we stopped like 8 or 9 o'clock. It was dark. We couldn't get out of the tank. They just said sleep, and they woke us up around 2 o'clock in the morning. We started the engines up, and 1-3 was so bad, before I left, I grabbed a gunny sack off of one of the tents because I had to the idle would keep stalling and dying out on me, so I kept a Marine Corps idle sandbag. So anyway, we took off pitch black, and I believe we had somebody in between each tank for a guide. We ended up on a road. We drove again for the longest time. And all of a sudden, they told us to stop, make a left-hand turn on a neutral basis, And right in front of us was this sand dune. I believe it was Lieutenant Frank Spalsbury gave the order to charge. So we charged this sand dune, all 10 tanks, and because of this 1-3, I made 3/4 of the way. I couldn't make it. I had to back down. Everybody's on top. I had to back down, and this time when I hit it, I got halfway, and I rocked the tank back and forth like a frog, high to low, high to low, high to low, and I got up on top, and they says, "Think you could make it? Fire!" Okay, so I listened to the interview from Texas, San Antonio, and I don't remember a lot, but I remember what they were saying, the other group. Now, we were ordered to fire, and as we were firing, the count came over the radio. So I turned my helmet on because I was just getting kind of disturbed. We were all firing, all 10 tanks, and boy, all you could see was, bodies going up in the air. Anyway, we covered the left part of the unit. So our main job was to protect that they wouldn't come down or run away, come down to the left and outflank us and come up on the back side or the top and maybe kill us or destroy us or whatever. Now, in the interview, the other expert driver, Wally, said that they used a lot of 30 and 50. Well, I agree. Our tank used probably maybe 6 rounds of 90 was it, and we sprayed the area, Corporal Mintz, the gunner and the loader, sprayed the area with 30 and 50. So anyway, after we achieved our mission, we were told to start mounting up. Well, this is the part that the driver saw. Anyway, I was getting it all ready, getting it warm. Well, it was already warm because we never shut down. But all of a sudden, 3 rounds, 2 HE and a rocket. One hit on one side, one hit on the other side, and one hit right in the middle. Lifted the tank up at least 8 inches. And when that thing came down, just rocked my teeth and my poor rump. We were covered with dirt. Man, I had like 3 inches of dirt inside the driver's compartment and all over me. Spalsbury got on the phone and asked if we were okay because they literally covered us up. That freaked me out. I've been shot at, but boy, all that stuff all around us, and we all said, boy, there must be a God. I mean, they should have killed us. Anyway, as the unit came back down, we assumed the position of rear echelon again. And I'm not too sure. They had a conversation and they weren't agreeing. So anyway, I remember coming down. We got, after a couple hours, we were in a sand dune, what happened to be a minefield. Now in the minefield, you track. That's track to track and you don't move. So being the last, we had to move really slow. And so I came out of my driver's hatch and I looked down and I saw a blue ribbon. So I called up to the 6 and I said, 6, this is, and I need a permission to throw a frag. He says, permission granted. So I threw this frag right on the mine. Didn't blow. I went, well, okay. So, as I say, and we were tracking, and I came out of it. I started off, and right where we had to make a little turn is where this mine I thought was. Anyway, I guess I went too far. Bam, man. 1-3 hit a mine. I hit a mine. Man, was I pissed. Got out of the driver's compartment because I'm a driver and I had to check it. So we went back. I had Arvins. Every tank had Arvins on it. And doggone it, man, they were laughing. Well, that really made me mad. I picked one armed man and threw him off of the tank into the minefield. I reached down and I drew my .45, and Corporal Mitch, blues, no. So, I obeyed Corporal Mitch. I put the .45 away, and they helped him back on the tank. Anyway, I had to crawl down to assume the damage, and I was okay. I could come out of it. Thank the good Lord. So, anyway, after I did that, we got off of the minefield. I got out of the tank and I could check it. Well, I loosened the track up and I fixed it and we were okay. So I had minimal damage. What I think I hit was a dud. And so I was thankful about that. Now, for my story, that'll end. Because I don't remember much of that because we were out of the minefield and we were just on familiar ground. And so I felt comfortable. So my story has ended. We all got back. We didn't lose anybody. And as you know in the story, it was a success. So anybody that sees this, if you were on 1-3 with me, I was your driver, blues, call me. Let me know you were with me. I love every one of you. That's my story. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.